Show. Excuse me.
I want to thank everybody for your patience while we were in executive session. Dr. Rock, we are coming out of executive session, and you can start the tape. Next on our board agenda is one point.
Hold up.
Make a motion.
Oh, I'm sorry. Can I have a motion to come out of executive session? Sorry.
Mr. Chair, I'd like to move that this board excuse ourselves from executive session and move back into regular meeting.
Do I have a second?
I second.
Moved by Vice President Mitchell, second by Member Mewman. Dr. Rock, would you please call the roll?
Mrs. Gator,
Yes.
Mrs. Moomin,
Yes.
Ms. Mitchell,
Yes.
Mr. Freeman.
Yes. Next on our board agenda is the approval of the agenda. Board, have you had a chance to review tonight's agenda?
Yes. Yes, Mr.
Is
Chair.
there any changes or any corrections you see on that? Superintendent, Mr. Jolly, is there any changes?
No, sir. No, we did add the North Randall CRA deal.
Okay. And do we have legal counsel in the audience to provide that?
Yes.
Yes, we do.
I acknowledge Christopher Williams. All right, Dr. Rock, have you reviewed the agenda and made sure that this district has the funds to take care of the actual item?
Yes.
Okay. At this time, I will need a motion for 1.6 approval of agenda. Board?
Mr. Chair, I'd like to move that this board approve item 1.6, approval of the agenda for today's meeting dated May 25th, 2017, our regular board meeting.
Do I have a second?
I second.
Moved by Vice President Mitchell, second by Board Member Mewman. Is there any discussion, Board, on the agenda? Dr. Rock, would you please call the roll?
Mrs. Moomin,
Yes.
Mrs. Gator,
Yes.
Ms. Mitchell,
Yes.
Mr. Freeman.
Yes, motion carries 5-1. Next on our board agenda is approval of the minutes. Board, we're looking for approval for the following dates: April 13th, 2017 work session meeting, and April 27th, 2017 regular meeting. At this time, I will need a motion to approve 1.7 approval of minutes.
Yes, Mr. Chair, I'd like to make a motion to approve item 1.7, approval of the minutes for April 13th work session and April 27th regular meeting.
And do I have a second?
I second.
Moved by Member Gator, second by Vice President Mitchell. Any discussion about the minutes, Board? Dr. Rock, would you please call the roll?
Mrs. Gator,
Yes.
Mrs. Moomin,
Yes.
Ms. Mitchell,
Yes.
Mr. Freeman.
Yes, motion carries 4-0. Next on our board agenda is a presentation by the ACE Mentoring Program. The academic is actually leaded by Nevin Jenkins. Nevin, would you come down for the ACE program with your scholars?
Good evening.
Good evening. It's at the bottom. There you go.
Good evening. We'd like to thank the board for having us here this evening. We'd also like to publicly thank Mr. Jolly for bringing the ACE program to Warrensville Heights. It's the first suburban school that's not a Cleveland school to have the ACE program. And hopefully you will be wowed by the presentation that we've been working all year on. I'd also like to thank a few of our mentors who are here from the construction trades. We have Aaron Kirkpatrick from the AKA team, Judd, who's an architect right here in Warrensville Heights, and Matt, who works for Whiting Turner. So we have lots of different construction partners doing this with us today. I'd like to ask our first presenter to come up.
If you can give your name and what grade you're in.
Good evening. My name is Ariana Thomas. I am a senior at Warrensville Heights High School. We've been working on a project for 15 weeks where we've come up with great and amazing ideas to contribute on making Warrensville a healthier and better place. I will now pass it over to Brandon to give you a summary of our presentation.
Give your name and your year, Brandon.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Good evening. My name is Brandon Rush. I'm a sophomore at Warrensville Heights High School. The master plan is making healthy connections in Warrensville Heights by linking multiple places within the community. By doing so, we'll make Warrensville a better place, a healthier place to enjoy living. Green spaces, walking paths, workspaces combined with plans for new schools, renovations will attract more people to our city. These improvements will create a place where all people over the world can say, wow, I need to go to Warrensville to see that. There will be places for everyone in Warrensville, the surrounding community, socialize, exercise, and have fun. Warrensville will become the IT city. Our goal is to build healthy connections, and our proposals contain many ways we can do this. Our 1-4 hub connections are Warrensville Schools redevelopment, which will include an amphitheater and social garden to promote healthy educational interactions. Town Center located at the base Chevrolet, which will include connections to the YMCA and library promoting healthy community interactions. Tri-City Park, the old Randall Park Mall area, providing a place for physical and social interactions. These three nodes are connected by hub pathways, building physical linkage and encouraging healthy experience, bringing the quality of fruitage. Now I'd like to present Javon for the next slide.
Give your name, Javon, and your grade.
Good evening. I'm Javon Miller, a senior from Trinity High School. The spaces we have developed have many features and a number of community amenities. We have a new middle school and high school with a social garden and amphitheater connecting the schools. The amphitheater will add to the educational opportunities for the school by providing an outdoor learning and presentation space. Town Center area will include a newly built city hall and behind it a gazebo, fountain, and reflection pool, as well as community gardens and social areas. Tri-City Park encompasses fitness zones, sports fields and courts, art gallery, courtyard, rock wall, climbing zone, zip line, playground, plant wall, walking and biking trails, green spaces, solar farm, wind turbines, outdoor stage for concerts and events, and much more. There are 2 bridges that cross over main streets, as well as walking and biking paths that run throughout our 3 main spaces. Our projects have many benefits that impact the environment, education, and both physical and emotional health. We use green energy such as wind turbines and solar farm, which provide our spaces with electricity. We have recycling bins throughout our spaces, and we use permeable pavement for our pathways, which allow water to pass through for effective irrigation. The amphitheater provides opportunities for outdoor learning, presentations, and educational speaking engagements. There are various informational signs throughout our spaces that provide information about the area and history of the city. There are playgrounds, rock walls, walking and biking trails, athletic fields and courts that promote physical activity and health. Finally, there is a pond, art gallery, and outdoor stage for live music and events that promote emotional and social health. I will now turn it over to Sylvester.
Give your name and your grade.
My name is Sylvester. I'm in 11th grade. I'm a junior. Our start day for construction is May 3rd, 2018. This will be easily done because there are independent spaces. Our current middle school will be torn down and become the future high school closer to Cleveland Clinic's Hospital, one of our Healthy Connection partners. We are recommending that those middle school students will be housed to the now vacant Randallwood schools. All schools will be completed by the end of summer 2019, fully ready for greeting scholars to their new buildings. Tri-City Park will be completed May 2019, and all connections will be completed August 2019. pass it over to Alexis.
Hi, Alexis. Just give your name and your grade.
My name is Alexis Williams. I'm a sophomore and an athlete at Warrensville Heights High School.
Right?
We have broken down the cost of each of the 3 pathways and spaces. The schools and amphitheaters cost $32 million. City Hall and Town Center cost $12 million. Tri-City Park cost $68 million. The bridges and pathways cost $7 million. All of which brings us to the total of $119 million. Some of our material that will be used are steel, brick, sod, asphalt, and concrete. Now, I will turn it over to Raymond Williams that will conclude our presentation.
Hi, Raymond. Give your name and your grade.
Hi, I am Raymond Williams, a sophomore. Do you want to be healthy? We were given the RFP to make healthy connections. This inspired our One for Hub plan. One for Hub creates an environment that supports a variety of healthy activities, which include athletic fields and walkable paths. We plan for the Tri-City Park and pathways to make Warrensville a desirable destination for healthy connections. We have used lean construction and value engineering to make sure we will bring Mayor Sellers and Superintendent Jolly's vision on budget and on time. In addition, we will use sustainable products and practices to make sure we are having a LEED certified initiative. Did we wow you?
Yes.
Yes.
You
Their
did.
vision is one vision, our vision, One for Hub, inspiring, opening new engagements for urban environments. And now I'll turn it over to our mentor, lead mentor, Arian Kirkpatrick.
Mr. Kirkpatrick, couch, come on down.
Good evening. First,
Good
can I
evening.
get a round of applause for these students? So a little bit about the ACE program. ACE is Architecture, Construction, and Engineering. And we did a pilot program after meeting with Superintendent Jolly to talk about bringing this program to Warrensville Heights. It's been a CMSD project for approximately about 9 years. It's a national program. And I found out, I've always been active with it, and they were giving hundreds of thousands of scholarships for students at CMSD. I am an alum, Tiger Pride, from Warrensville Heights High School, and I wanted to make sure that I can bring something back to our kids so that they can be exposed to the type of programs and projects that we're doing. I can't tell you how proud and amazed I am at our students. What you saw was just a small part of the presentation. All of the students participated in bringing together an RFP. They received an RFP at the beginning of the school year, request for proposal, and they worked diligently. They had a marketing team. They had a scheduling team, an estimating team, and they understood how to put a construction project together. If they weren't interested in construction, they learned a lot about marketing. They learned the business end. And I can tell you, I have never been so proud of these students in my life. Tomorrow they're doing a presentation for Stantec Advertising. They have been asked to be part of possibly the new building for the city, for the schools, and be ambassadors. And that's because they know exactly what they're doing. Also, I want to let you know there were 9 schools competing. This was the first year Warrensville did it, and they placed 4th.
Yeah.
We didn't get a chance for all the students to come up and participate, so if they can all come up.
Yeah.
And if you can please just say your name. Come up, stand right here. I got to highlight you.
Love it.
Stand in line and say your name and what class you're in.
You can
And don't
turn.
say the year 2015, 16. You know I can't figure that out. Y'all know I'm a little slow on that. Say freshman, junior, sophomore, whatever. Okay, start off.
My name is Alexis Williams. I am a sophomore at Warrensville Heights High School. My name is Ariana Thomas, and I am a senior at Warrensville Heights High School.
My name is Brandon Rush. I'm a sophomore at Warrensville Heights High School.
My name is Teresa Peters, and I'm a junior at Warrensville Heights High School.
My name is Javon Miller, and I am a senior at Trinity High School.
My name is Randall Williams, and I'm a sophomore.
My name is Baby Betty McCoy, and I'm a junior at Warrensville Heights High School.
My name is Antonio Buzz, and I'm a sophomore at Warrensville.
My name is Sylvester Lee Heinzen III, and I am a junior.
My name is DeAndre Thomas, and I'm a sophomore at Warrensville High
They did more for me than I did for them. I gotta say that.
Thank you. Andrew, can you just, if the board wants some questions, or maybe Nevin can answer them? Board, do you have any questions for these wonderful scholars?
I don't have a question, but I have a comment. I am so proud of each and every one of you. The work that you put into that presentation alone is very impactful. I am a marketing professional, and I have to say you guys did a phenomenal job. Your presentation skills were on point. You spoke clearly, and it's very evident that you put a lot of hard work, research into the document that you presented today, into your project overall. To you, Arian, I have to say thank you. Growing up with you, I am just so proud to see the person that you've become as a business owner and a key stakeholder and contributor in our community. So thank you so very much for what you offer to our children and what you bring to our community as a whole.
Board Member Gator?
I really just kind of want to echo what Member Mitchell said. I can't say it any better than she said as far as your contribution, Ariane, so we definitely thank you. And then to the students, you know I love you guys. Now, there's 3 or 4 of them over there that went through Westwood, and I'm not surprised seeing them standing up here today doing these presentations. Little Ray Raymond, who else was a Westwood? Sylvester. So yeah, Alexis, did you go to Westwood? You look. No. Okay. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Westwood School. So anyway, seriously, I want to
Still going on.
congratulate you guys. I want to continue. I would like to encourage you to continue to step outside of your comfort zone. Try something different. Some of you are seniors. I don't know what your career paths are. But I hope that whatever it is, you always strive to be the best that you can absolutely be. So congratulations on the place that you got in the competition, and congratulations for representing Westwood and Trinity well. We appreciate it.
Thank you.
Ms. Mumin?
I just have a comment as well. You know, it is so refreshing to see young people that have a vision. And your vision is the same as our vision. And I'm hoping that you will continue to move on with your vision as to what you want to see in Warrensville. Because your vision is going to be the groundwork for the success of our community. I'm so proud of you guys. Actually, I feel like crying because
Right.
I know
Right.
every one of the students here, and I'm just I feel blessed because you have become a part of my life. And I feel blessed because you guys are doing so well. Keep it up, Sylvester. Don't let any.
Why you call Sylvester out?
Don't let anything deter you guys.
Yeah.
And thank you, for being that lead for our children. And they are our children. We can't say it's this one or that one. These are our children that we want to make to be successful, to represent Warrensville. I want Warrensville to be worldwide. You listen to Warrensville, success is coming out of here because we have great teachers, we have great administrators, and we have great community people that's pushing us to be successful. Again, thank you so much.
I'll say something. I wanted to say, I congratulate our students. Let's give the students another round of applause. Because when they went down there, they were the only suburb team, and they represented. They did an outstanding job. You look handsome and beautiful, and you really showed the world how great you are. But I want to give a special thanks to Ms. Kirkpatrick because this was her dream and vision for our district. When I first came, this was one of the first people who came to me and said she really wants this program in Warrensville. And so I just wanted to give her a public acknowledgement of her effort. You know, it was we had to go through some barriers to get it here. Cleveland had to let us in, and they had to let us in, and we worked that, and we got it in. Those. And one thing I want to say is relationships mean so much. I mean, people, and you can't burn bridges in life, you know, and I come from there, and I didn't burn a bridge when I was there. So anything that they have that's for our children, they're willing to give us and help us. And they have some great things there. And this is one of the examples. How many thousands of dollars of scholarships they gave at the event?
$118,000 in scholarships.
Oh, wow.
Javon Miller, he was our senior, and you heard everybody, he said he was from Trinity. He is, his parents and his aunt and his whole family graduated from Warrensville. But he reached out to me and he said, hey, I want to be a part of the Warrensville team. I want to help those students. And they gravitated. They respected Javon's leadership right away. It was amazing.
Yeah.
I mean, I can't speak. Ariane, whose name, she has my name. So,
Yes, she does.
oh my gosh, so special young lady. I'm gonna cry talking about her. She's gonna be a graduating senior. She's gonna be working with us. In her in Tri-C, she's going through the construction enforcement program, and we're giving her a scholarship. She's getting in the trade right away. I mean, it ain't nothing. I love all of these kids. They all call me mom. Now I have to take them out, especially since I'm up here crying, because they said, where are we going to celebrate? So we have to do this. I love them all. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, I just want to thank you, Arian. When we were in school, you were my little sister, so I always protected you. I want to thank the Tiger Techs. You guys did an awesome job. To see you that night, me and Mr. Jolly and the Mayor Sellers was probably the biggest cheerleaders, but you guys did an outstanding job. I had probably about 30, 40 people came to me like, are you guys from Warrensville? And I proudly said, yeah, we're Warrensville. So you guys made this board very proud, and keep it up.
Also, I got to thank Mr. Jenkins. Mr. Jenkins, stand up, please.
Right. Way to go, Nevin.
Because he was the glue
Yeah,
that took the vision and made it happen. So we're very thankful for you and the work you did.
Nevin.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Next on our board agenda, we have a presentation by our Assistant Superintendent, Dr. Caver, about academic data. Come on down, Dr. Caver.
Do I have a good evening?
Oh, it's right here. I'm sorry.
No, that's it.
Good job, Sylvester.
A blank one.
Good evening. So we've been under the administration of Superintendent Jolly for 2 years now, and when he first came back to the district, he brought a plan that was called a Return to Excellence Plan. And so today, I want to give you a little bit of an update on our academic data that's aligned to our current strategic plan, where one of the areas is academic achievement. Academic achievement, under the academic achievement strategic plan, we stated that we would provide a rigorous curriculum that is going to prepare our students for the 21st century. So today I'm going to share with you some data that shows you where we are on this journey. Student growth measures are a method for determining how much growth or academic progress that a student makes between 2 points in time. And in order to measure student growth, we're either looking at spring to spring, or in some cases, we're looking at fall of the current school year to spring of the current school year. So we're usually looking at 1 year worth of growth that we're hoping for. There are ways to measure student growth measures, and these are some of the types we have. So we have what we call value added, and that is measured by the Ohio State test. And that's when you'll see that we get a value-added grade on our report card. We also have something called vendor assessments, such as NWEA MAP scores or STAR assessments or iReady, those are what we consider vendor assessments that have been approved by the State Department of Education to determine how our students are performing or progressing. Then you can have a local student growth measure, which is something called an SLO. And an SLO is a student learning objective, and that is usually applied when there isn't an available vendor assessment or state assessment. And we administer all three types of student growth measures here in our district, and I wanted to share with you some of our results today. So for the student growth measures, 50% of the teacher's evaluation is tied to student growth measures, and they get a rating of a 5, 4, 3, 2, or 1. I wanted you to know that a 5 is most effective, which is the highest you can get. That tells you that a child has made about an average of 2 years worth of growth in 1 year time span. So if a teacher gets a 5, that means that they have taken a child from where they are and they have grown by 2 years academically if they receive a 5. A 4 is 1.5 years worth of growth. A 3 is average, and that's what we're shooting for. A 3 is automatically saying that when you took a child in 3rd grade and you taught them that at the end of the year you have taught them a year's worth of information, that now they are 4th grade material, or they've learned enough to grow 1 year's worth of growth. And then of course 2 is meaning only a half of a year worth of growth, and then 1 is something we don't want to discuss. So our goal is to always have a 3 or above. Our first year here under Superintendent Jolly, we are using our vendor and local assessments because some of you may have heard of something called Safe Harbor. And what that means is that as we switch tests from the PARC to the OST, school districts across the state were able to say we're not going to use that data because we don't know, because the state decided that they would give us a grace period of 3 years to catch up with the new assessment. So last year, we had to use vendor and local assessments for our student growth measures. And so this is the data that we had on year 1. About 9% of our teachers were most effective last year when we first implemented the vendor and the local assessments. And then you can see the rest of the graph. We have above average at 14%, 22% of our teachers score average, and so on and so on. Overall, 44% of our teachers together combined the first year under Superintendent Jolly, 44% of the teachers had a 3 or above, so average or higher student growth measure. Now remember I said we want at least a 3 to show that they're making progress. This year, we had 31% of our teachers score 5 on their student growth measure. Combined average, above average, and most effective scores went to 77% for this school year currently. That is to be applauded. Not that I made you applaud, but I just wanted to point out that we've made more than 30% growth in terms of our teachers that are scoring average or above. And just to reiterate, that means that the children that we are serving have grown at least a year's worth of growth, and some of them even more than a year. So again, we're not measuring proficiency at grade level. We're measuring how much growth a child that comes into our school district comes and sits in front of our teachers, how much growth do they make within 1 year? And so we just wanted to share with you on our return to excellence. We know that we still have a long way to go. We are not where we want to be as a district, but our teachers are working very hard every day, and we are working very hard towards our strategic plan and our goal of preparing our children for the 21st century. That's it.
Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Caver. Or do you have any questions for Dr. Caver about the data she presented this board?
Nope. Just want to say thank you for the hard work.
And thank our teachers.
Yes, absolutely.
Thank you, Dr. Caver.
Thank you, Dr. Caver.
Next on our board agenda is public participation. Outside on the table, it's a card like this. You can fill it out with your name, your address, and just your comment or subject you would like to discuss. You have 3 minutes, and you can give that card to our treasurer, Dr. Rock, if you haven't done so. Dr. Rock, at this time, do we have any public participation cards?
Yes. Kelly Mickler.
Come on down, Mr. Mickler. give your name and your address.
My name is Kelly Mickler. I'm a Shaker Heights resident.
Correct. Go right ahead.
Okay, I just wanted to speak to the board and the board president and the superintendent to mention that I do have a youth program, and I wanted to, I really like the unity of the city of Warrensville. I want to know if you guys could consider me as far as bringing a youth program here. We do football, basketball, and mentoring for kids. So I'll be interested in providing that for this city.
Oh, okay.
Quality youth program.
That's what we're talking about, okay. Thank you, sir. I'll be in contact with you. It's not a phone number on here. If you could put your phone number on here, we could reach you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Mickler. Dr. Rock, next public participation.
Mrs. Kendall?
Thank you.
Thank you for being kind.
Say your name, address.
My name is Miss Kendall. My address is 23712 Felch. I'm a 10-year resident of Warrensville Heights City School District. I am, first of all, I'm so mad that the kids left before I can say, oh, and I have a friend that's giving me 3 of her minutes because I got to read something off. But I am very sad that I didn't get a chance to say to them personally that I'm so very proud, because my heart pours for the youth, and I'm very proud of what they did with the ACE program. Oh yeah, that was awesome. Tonight, can I take this?
Okay, go ahead.
Tonight, I will speak to something that's very dear to my heart. First of all, I also want to say thank you, Mr. Jolly, for allowing Diva Squad to have an awesome turnout last night. We had our first showcase, Diva Squad, dedicated, intelligent, victorious achievers of Eastwood Elementary School, which I am the coordinator of that group. Tonight I'm here to discuss the PST board. The PST board stands for Parent, Teacher, Student, and Teachers Board. We, the PST board, believe there should be a common ground on decisions made for our children, district-based, that would balance out the state-led board. We, the parents and students of this district, are the, as you will, customers, and we should be able to be in the decision-making of what we are buying as city residents. Making decisions, being able to make decisions on who cover our children and as principals and teachers without, no more making decisions on who cover our children and principals and teachers without giving us knowledge or a voice about potential hire. It's been going on obviously far too long with parents not being involved. I've heard that many times. Parents not being involved, and I believe students not being able to also have a voice as well. I was very impressed by the children having a voice in what they feel our districts should look like. That was impressive. Just because they're children doesn't mean their feelings don't matter, and that they should not have a say about things that ultimately concern them. Beginning together as a team that wisely and fairly deal with issues from a parent and student perspective while blending with the teachers and the school board as a whole. That is what the PST board brings to Eastwood Elementary School first. We want to blend and do the things that will make this city district as a school the best that it can. And we need the voices of each party, parent, student, and teachers as a whole. So I just want to bring that we have already started the board. We have already a large amount of parents, me being the facilitator, president, have vice president, and we want to do it in the the reflection of how you do things, but we want students involved, students on the board. We want them to be able to tell us what they experience so that we can make the correct changes, because we're not there. We don't see what happened. We just hear what the adults bring back. We need a board that represents them as a whole. So that's what the PST board is trying to bring to the table.
Thank you so much, Mrs. Kendall.
And I definitely want to hear some feedback.
Do you want to address it or not?
Well, I think parent engagement and student engagement is very important to our future. I know a lot of people, Pastor Mike, just met with him the other day. I'd like to introduce you to him.
Yes.
He, right behind you. We met about similar goals of trying to engage our community, parents, students. So I believe it's a very, would like to work with you on the development or suggestions, or just be part of the process, because we value parent input, student input, and in order for us to get where we need to go, we need everybody going in one direction. I will say that on our interview teams and things, we do have parents part of them. Last year we brought all our candidates to the community. We had a Meet the Candidates Day at Eastwood, where they got to see all our candidates and people got to give comments on the candidates. As we go through this process with our high school principal hire, we'll be doing the same thing. And we do have parents. We have parents on our interview team also with the high school principal. So we've taken a lot of steps. I can't rectify a lot of things that have happened, but we're making steps to make sure that everyone's involved in the process. And we look forward to working with you and your team to make this work.
All right. Can I ask a question, please?
Right ahead.
You mentioned that you have a number of parents that are involved. Are they just from Eastwood, or what schools do they represent?
Well, I have children. I have a graduate that's graduating next week.
Right.
So my voice, I want it to be for everyone, every school to come together, because I know they already have PTO. We want to work with them. Okay. We want to work with them, and we're not trying to split anything. We all need to come together to work on the betterment of this city. So we're at I started at Eastwood only because I have a third grader at Eastwood, and Diva Squad started at Eastwood. But I have also ninth grader, and I have a graduate, and my other daughter is an alumni. So we've been here 10 years. So the voices for all the schools is what we really need.
And you're saying you have parents that are representative
Different
of
schools.
all the schools?
Yes.
Okay. How many would you say you have?
Oh, my goodness. I didn't bring all the signatures.
Just roughly.
At least 50.
50?
Yes, ma'am.
Oh, that's a huge group. So, I'm just going to throw something out there. You've got your 100 volunteers where we're looking for people to get involved in this.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. We've got the 100 volunteers. We'll have different committees that are going to be coming up. So I would just encourage you to work with Mr. Jolly.
The 100 volunteers, we are looking for 100 volunteers to help us in the classrooms with our teachers.
Okay.
It's on our website, but I will share the information with you.
Well, we had standing room only yesterday for our girls, and I talked to all the parents, and we had signatures, and we want to encourage them to come out. I was very impressed with the turnout last night, so.
Good.
Yes.
Well, keep us in the loop is what I would say. If you're going to be having meetings or something.
Yes,
Mr.
yes.
Jolly, I was going to ask, you have a student advisory board and you have a parent advisory board as well. So is it possible for individuals from the group that Ms. Kendall is trying to put together to become a part of those?
Yes.
That way they have entree into you directly, and then as well as continue to work with the PTO and the other community engagement or groups that we will be developing over the next school year.
Wonderful, because I want to also ask, is it possible that we may be able to, because we were asking questions about where we can meet, if we're allowed to meet once a month or every 2 months here at the school?
I would let Mr. Jolly.
Yeah, it's great. Yeah, we'll talk. Your parent group, we'll talk.
Wonderful, wonderful. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Ms. Kendall.
Thank you.
I want to say one thing. Ms.
Yes, ma'am.
As long as we're on the same page, we'll be successful.
Yes, ma'am.
I'm so happy to hear that you have such a group.
Yes, ma'am.
We welcome parents.
Yes, ma'am.
I want parents to be involved because of the fact that we can't educate children alone.
That's right.
Parents is the core to educating our children.
And they have to start speaking. They do. Their voices, they don't speak.
Okay, and if you the voice for them, that's fine.
Thank you, ma'am.
You know, but we do need their voice.
Yes, ma'am.
We need to know what they don't like or what's wrong with the
Right,
system.
right,
And
right,
if
right.
we can work together to get it, to fix it, so be it.
And we also have to ask the students because they know.
That's true.
Right.
Thank you
All
so
right,
much.
Thank you so much. Dr. Rock, do you have another public participation card?
Mrs. Ridgway?
Come on down, Ms. Ridgway, give your name and your address.
Good evening. How's everybody doing
Good
this
evening.
evening? Hi, everybody. Well, I got 3 minutes, so I'm gonna make it quick. And I usually leave out before I can get an answer or what's gonna happen with it. I was listening to Miss, I can never say your last name.
Miss
right?
Moomin.
Miss Moomin, when the kids were over there speaking, talking about making it worldwide. Now, I've contacted CNN, Channel 19, 3, 5, 843, Fox, everybody in the world. Because we got to make this worldwide. Now, they got the bullying app going on. Is this on or how does this work?
It's on. It's on.
Okay, we got the bullying app going. Thank you, Mr. Jolly. Thank you so much. Two things, people. I want to thank the scholars for 2017. Congratulations. If anyone is in here, if not, can you just pass the word on to them? Job well done. I also want to say Happy Memorial Day to the vets and the troop. And I've been in touch with Marshall Fudge's office, the news channels. I usually don't write stuff down, but I said I only have but a few seconds, so I better write it down and go quick. I've been trying to reach Senator Harris, Williams, McCain, about sex abuse, teen human trafficking, and abduction. Also, I'm trying to reach out to Amanda Berry. Let me see. Give me a second. Amanda Berry, Michelle Knight, and Gina DeJesus. They also have something where a phone number for missing children, that a number that you can call. And the last, well, not the last meeting, the meeting before last, I spoke about human trafficking and abduction and sex and everything. And a lady, a resident looked at me when I said that. I said, our children are being raped, human trafficking, abduction, and she looked like, I dare you, but I'm sorry if I offended anybody, but that's what's going on in the world. You know, that's really what's happening. If you could turn on the TV, you got the Amber Alert, Mr. Johnny got that going. I'm trying to get this human teen sex trafficking, abduction, sex abuse added to the app. Can anybody help the children out, the teenagers out? Anybody? What can we do about that?
Yeah. So I did have discussions with Mr. Heedy,
Okay.
Chief Heedy today, and we I shared your concern.
Okay.
So we'll address it. I mean, it'll be addressed.
Okay.
You want to speak on it, Chief Heedy?
Can you pull it up? Can you pull it up? Or can anybody in here see it, or is this personal, or what is it?
Well, they can go to our.
But what if they don't have an app? And what if they don't have a phone or a computer to do that? Do you have paperwork?
Yeah, but we can get that stuff for you, Ms. Richards.
Yeah, if they don't have
Yeah.
a computer or something, they're gonna have to manually. They have to report it to an administrator.
Okay.
The computer allows them to do it anonymously,
Right.
so when no one knows. So they use their phones or a computer. If it's a situation where they don't have it, then we will advise them to report it to the closest authority.
Okay.
In school, that would be a principal, security guard, any adult, and then we'll report it to the police.
Okay. And I also want to thank the board. Job well done. The police department, Warrensville, North Randall, Highland. God bless. In the name of Jesus, amen.
Amen.
Thank you, Ms. Ridgway.
Thanks.
Next on our board agenda, 1.11,
Sorry,
Superintendent
Mr.
Updates.
Freeman, we have 2 more.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Andrea Woods?
Andrea Woods, could you come down?
She took her time. Okay.
Oh, she took her time.
Oh, okay.
Next guy.
Okay.
Mrs. Mitchell? Councilwoman Mitchell?
Come on down, Councilwoman.
Good evening, everyone. I would be remiss, I had to go out and fill a card out. I just came from the auditorium, and it was filled almost to capacity with parents and family for the 4th grade promotion. That was phenomenal. to see 100.
Fifth grade.
Fifth grade, I'm
Fifth
sorry.
grade.
I keep thinking Eastwood, fourth grade. Fifth grade promotion.
Right.
Was it 109?
106.
106 young smiling faces getting ready to go to sixth grade, and to hear all of their accomplishments and their achievement. Every single person, I would say at least 100 of them went up in their mathematics scores and their reading scores. And these aren't things that we hear about. And I wanted to get on recorded to just hear about this. This is amazing. And I'm sitting there thinking, when I was in Randallwood, we went through this whole thing, but my glasses fogged up, I'm crying, I'm seeing they're dancing, they're winning awards and trophies, and they're enjoying themselves. And this is the celebration and joy that we want in our city. And I'm just proud to be a witness to it all. And thanks so much.
Thank you, Councilwoman. Dr. Rock, any more cards?
That completes the section.
Thank you so much. Thanks for all who came down and spoke. Next on our board agenda is 1.11 Superintendent Updates. Superintendent Jolly.
Yeah, so I'm going to be real brief today. I just have a couple updates. I want to talk about the Westwood, the proposal to open Westwood up for grades 2 and 3. Can you put that up, Jonathan? I wanted to go over what the budget would be and how much it would cost the district. The board, you have it inside your folder.
There you go.
Well, they can make it bigger. Can you make it a little bigger, Jonathan? Or smaller?
Bigger.
Oh, no. So I'll just begin and go through it as Jonathan works on it. We are proposing tonight that the board reopen Westwood Elementary School to accommodate grades 2 and 3. This is a result of our overcrowding at John Dewey, which we are out of capacity with kindergarten. It's also with Eastwood too. All our elective teachers are on carts. We don't have enough space. So we're proposing tonight that we open back up Westwood for grades 2 and 3 in the transition as we go to our new facility. There's costs involved with opening up Eastwood. We've been crunching the numbers to try to figure out the most economic way to do it. As you know, we do have a tenant in Westwood, which is a church that we are partnering with to ensure that they can maintain the church aspect of the facility along with us being the school during the daytime. So with this, our general fund, there's some expenditures that we have to spend, which are one-time expenditures, and then we have ongoing expenditures. So in order to get the building up to standard, we have to spend about $47,000 to get it up to standard, where we need it to be. This money will come out of our permanent improvement fund, which currently we have over $400,000 that resides in this. This is a yearly levy that the city has passed. That is, every year we collect on this to assist us with our facilities. So $47,000 will go toward that. Those are one-time fees, a one-time outlay. Also, our special ed office will pay monies also, which equates to about $6,422, and this is for equipment, and this again is a one-time cost. Food service, so our proposal is that we will make our food at the middle school and it will be transferred over to Westwood. So the middle school would be the site to make the food, and then the food would go to Westwood on a daily basis. Many school districts have central kitchens where they cook the food and then they transport it. Since we are building a new school and it has other items, our middle school has the capacity to do it. Also, with food service, the food service fund, which we get reimbursed for, currently sits over $300,000. So the $70,000 outlay we can cover. Also, and then our general fund we will spend about $104,000 a year out of our general fund. We have to hire an additional custodian to go to Westwood. We would need also lunch aides to go to Westwood also, and then also an administrator to go there. And what we'll do with that is that we'll be moving some allocations around the district to not create a new allocation for principal, but we'll just have another allocation that we'll shift around and have a principal there at Westwood. Our time frame is that we plan to open Westwood up in August for the new start of the school year. We did have conversations with some of our second and third grade teachers to bounce the idea to them about it and see what they thought about it. As we looked around, and you look around different areas and districts, second and third grade is normally together. It's one of these two grades feed into each other. The third grade guarantee is a very important test, which students have to pass in order to move to the fourth grade. Maple Heights has a 2-3 building. A lot of the high-performing buildings have their second and third grade together. And this is our opportunity to put them together based on need, but also an opportunity for our teachers to collaborate and work together to ensure the success of our students. So I wanted to go over the recommendation, take any questions, because it will cost us about $104,000 a year to maintain it, to keep the people there. Initial outlay of about $228, but then it'll level out. We'll just be paying for the food to go back and forth. But if our construction plan goes on par, this will be a 2-year. We'll be over there for about 2 years.
And also, Mr. Jolly, we would net the revenue that we would get from the lease.
To offset costs, right? So, and going to the lease, we will have to amend the lease. Currently, the church pays very minimal rent, and they take care of the utilities. This cost of that $104 would cover us taking back the utilities. So we'll take back the utilities and the buildings and grounds from the church. We will raise their rent. But their outlay would still be less than what they currently paying.
So the 104 would actually be, when we net it with it, it'd be about 92,000.
92.
Board, do you have any questions for Superintendent Jolly about the Westwood move?
Yes, I
Member
do.
Gator?
So I see all of the different items that you have on here as far as budget costs and things that need to be done. Will you and your staff be able to provide the board a timeline of things to get done to ensure that it's done timely?
Yeah. So Dr. Rocket and myself will be the primary project managers until we get a new business manager. And we will have a timeline relatively after the board passes if the board elects to pass the resolution, we will develop that timeline and have it ready for our June 11th meeting.
So, and again, on that same note, if the board approves it, I would like to ask, Mr. Chairman, that we keep this on the agenda as unfinished business in terms of getting Westwood up and running.
I'm fine with that.
Thank you. The other thing I wanted to ask is, was there any input given to did you get any input from the teachers that are going to be going over to Eastwood?
The educators.
To make sure that they have everything that they need?
So we had an initial meeting. Ms. Boynton was part of the meeting. Ms. Womack was part of the meeting. I think Ms. Rainey was part of the meeting where we asked their opinion. Asked, what did they think? What were their thoughts? If one of you would like to share, if you want, if you don't have to, if you don't want to, but I didn't hear any negativity about the possible move. So we will function like a regular school there. They will have special ed teachers. They will have electives. Everything that Eastwood have, they will have at Westwood.
So they'll have access to the gym, the cafeteria, multi-purpose.
Right, they'll have access to a lot of key areas at Westwood.
All right, and then as far as the lease with Pastor Eppinger, so are we still considering this a joint effort between the church and collaboration, I guess, between the church, or are we saying that this lease is more so a use of facility? Is that kind of the way we're looking at this?
No, I think it's a collaboration, it's a partnership with the church. We will separate the facility so that he will still have access, but it'll be totally different areas for his access than from where the students are. So it's a partnership. The church wants to provide some services. They do before and after care that will be available to our scholars that go there.
And I think that what you said is very important. Because it is a church, he has all different kinds of people that will come in to seek spiritual guidance. And some of those people might not be people that we want on, over there with our children. So I think it's important that we definitely have it separated, that when visitors come in, someone is being very diligent to make sure that if they're coming over to Westwood Elementary School, that we know that why they're there. At the same time, make sure that if they're supposed to go to the church, that they go to the church. So it's got to be secure.
Yes, ma'am. And we're working on making sure that there's a clear barrier between the school and where his operation would be.
All right, and then just one final comment. I know we mentioned it once before. I just want to be real clear that as far as the building plan is concerned, those discussions are ongoing with Pastor Eppinger about what his chances are of retaining that building as far as the new building plan is concerned.
So I'm very clear. I've been very clear with him that of the boards, we of what our ability to do with the building is. We've been very clear with him. I think he has an understanding of what has to happen.
Okay. All right. Not to say that we want to push him out.
Right.
Just want to make sure that he knows that at this point, we don't know what's going to happen with that building.
Correct.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
Any other board members have any questions?
I have
something.
just
Go ahead, Ms. Meehan.
maybe one comment, and I'm
Go ahead.
looking at one of the teachers was talking about space.
Correct.
My concern is we're moving. Is the school size, the class size, is that going to be decreased? Instead of having 25 to 30 kids in a class, why can't, if we're moving, that means we should be able to hire enough staff that we wouldn't have to have such large classes. And our goal is to make sure that third graders are prepared to pass that test. You're not going to be able to do that if you got a classroom of 25 to 30 kids in a classroom. So we're moving, which is a good thing. But as the teacher just said, the space and the number of kids in a class has to be looked upon.
And one of the barriers is that we didn't have any place to put a new teacher because all the classes are pretty much taken. So this eliminates that barrier.
Oh, fantastic.
Did I not see that you're hoping to hire another teacher? Is that what I saw?
Yeah, we're adding a section, a second grade. Second grade section, and it's a third grade. So it's 4 sections of third grade now. It'll be 5 next year. So there's a.
Kindergarten classrooms. Okay. And those classes are also matriculating. Currently, we only have 5 second grade classrooms, but next year we definitely have to have 6. Okay. Because there are 6 first grade classes. Oh, okay.
Right, and I think in 2 years we went from like 120 in the kindergarten to 157. So that's a whole class there that we improve.
We don't have the space right now? We need it. Okay.
I mean, it's very hard for kids to take music and art because the teachers are on carts.
Oh.
I mean, the experience that you need, you just can't get because they just don't have the facility.
Okay.
You wanted to say something, Ms. Womack?
I was going to say, as Mr. Jolly said, there were no negative comments at our meeting. We all did agree that it would be a positive move, especially for planning and collaboration with our third grade teachers in regards to the third grade reading guarantee so that we know what to expect. I know we had our parent night at John Dewey. The things that the third grade teachers were there to tell our parents. Second grade teachers learned a lot, did not know the depth of the rigor and expectations in third grade. So for planning and successful future for our students, yes. However, it will be difficult leaving home. That's, if I must say, that's going to be a hard, that's going to be my colleagues, administration, but as far as the children being first, then it's a good idea to have us in one building together.
Okay, good.
So along with that, we received a grant from Colga County to expand pre-K. So this will allow us to expand pre-K also, because now we got more space at John Dewey to expand. So it is an expenditure. We didn't spend a lot more money when we got new kids, so this is our first real expenditure when we since we've been getting more students back to the district.
Thank you.
No, my questions were already asked.
Thank you, Superintendent.
I got a couple more announcements. I did want to announce that our track team currently is running at Austintown Fitch. We have students moving to the finals on Saturday. Nina Jones, 100 meters, hurdles. Our girls 4x2, our boys 4x1, and our two of our students, Dwayne Keaton and Cornell, both qualified in the 100, and they're running the 200 later. Also, I'd like to announce our firefighter class, our first initial class of firefighters. They take an exam called the Web X exam, which is a state exam. So for our kids to do, it's not expected that on the first test the kids do well, because this is the first time they ever took it. But I want to just announce that 8 of our scholars scored a passing score on the test, and we had two who scored advanced. And I would just like to commend, he's not here, the two teachers, Mr. Cruz and what's Brandon's last name? Brandon Barnes. Brandon Barnes, both young firefighters who are very energetic, really care about the program, and they're doing a great job. Next year, those scholars will be at Warrensville in the morning and Tri-C in the afternoon. So they're doing a great job. And then the last thing, I want to announce this. Dr. Cameron and I received a call this afternoon. We wrote a grant with College Now, and Warrensville has been awarded the Upward Bound Scholarship. So that's a 5-year grant that we just received. Our rising 8th graders will have the opportunity to get college experience. They'll be going to, I believe, Case Western Reserve for a 6-week experience. Things are moving. We have a lot of great things going on. Again, I go back to relationships are so crucial. Dr. Michelle Taylor, who is the president of College Now, is an alumni of Warrensville Heights High School, graduated in '93. And again, like Ariane Kirkpatrick, wanted to give back to our community, and she was very instrumental in making sure that we got that opportunity. So I say relationships are crucial. Burning bridges, we just can't do, because you never know when you got to cross them back. So thank you, and that concludes my report.
Thank you, Superintendent Jolly. Next on our board agenda is 2 consent agenda, treasurer's report and financial recommendations. Dr. Rock? Thank you.
Yeah, go ahead.
On the agenda tonight, the primary document that we have up for board approval is the 5-year forecast, and we covered this in great detail in our committee meeting as the whole, and Councilman Howard's here, and he participated in that. What I wanted to give is just a fast summary and a refinement that we made to the 5-year forecast because the latest settlement from the state came to us on May 19th. So I was able to adjust the projections, and it was very favorable for us. Whoops, I hit the wrong one. Okay, so our major revenue sources for the school district, 84% of our revenue is split between state funding and local property taxes. The local taxpayers pay 21% of the taxes, and tax revenue for us covers 57% of the total budget. So businesses pay 79%. Personnel and benefits and purchase services, that accounts for 87% of our expenditures. So when you look at these major line items, this is what we could base the majority of our projections on, and using science and data to create our projections and historical data and current information. The refinements that we made from the draft that we presented, the major difference is in purchase services. And then the second difference is the operating transfer. We calculated the transfer that we'll need at the year end so far for the recreation fund is $20,000. And just for your review, in prior years, the district has had $250,000 operating transfers, and this year we only need $20,000. And again, that's my philosophy, is for us to run it down to find the exact number that we need, instead of having just a repetitive amount going into the funds. Because then this way we could find out what we need, what needs to be transferred in. Because remember, a transfer is, it comes out of the general fund and goes to rescue another fund that may be negative. And you have funds that are negative. We're very fortunate that our food services is a positive fund. Usually that's a big one for school districts where it's a big operating transfer. So we're very lucky, $20,000. So if you looked at the prior years, it's $250,000 that was going out in operating transfers. On the purchase services, the projection for community schools, this is where we really saw some favorable information.